Andrew Cuomo and his state said his state would deliver on immediate solutions to gun violence. Today, his state legislature, including the Republican-controlled Senate, passed one of the toughest gun reform laws in the country. The governor signed the bill into law immediately. The new measure bans high-capacity magazines, limiting clips to 7 rounds of ammunition. The law changes the definition of assault weapons, making guns like the Bushmaster illegal. There are now background checks for all gun sales, including private transactions. The law requires background checks for ammunition. It also requires mandatory reporting of mental health threats. Governor Cuomo said that his state wanted to send a message to the rest of the country. Quick action on sensible gun laws is possible.
We can strike back and we can defend ourselves, but we're going to do it intelligently and we're going to do it prudently and we're going to put rules in place that actually protect innocent people in society.
Legislative bodies like the one in New York are basically on the move. Tomorrow, it'll be the president's turn to show his hand. President Obama will unveil several gun safety proposals, including a universal background check law, a ban on high-capacity magazines, and some type of assault weapons ban. Not everything will be left to the legislative branch. The president will issue executive action on background check enforcement. He will also call for increased federal research of firearm crime. And these are all well within the power of the President of the United States. But as President Obama said yesterday, some people will use these measures to make gun owners fearful.
Even the slightest hint of some sensible, responsible legislation in this area fans this notion that somehow here it comes, and that everybody's guns are going to be taken away.
When it comes to executive orders, President Obama is hardly a tyrant. This president has issued the fewest executive orders of any president in over a century. There will be no executive order on the Second Amendment. This hasn't stopped the Obama haters from ramping up their resistance. Tea Party Senator Rand Paul is driving the campaign of fear.
I'm against having a king. I think having a monarch is what we fought the American Revolution over, and someone who wants to bypass the Constitution, bypass Congress, that's someone who wants to act like a king or a monarch. I've been opposed to executive orders, even with Republican president, but one that wants to infringe on the Second Amendment, we will fight tooth and nail, and I promise you there'll be no rock left unturned as far as trying to stop him from usurping the Constitution.
Fight tooth and nail. Tell me, Senator, what does that mean? What does fight tooth and nail mean? Do your words matter at all to the people of this country? Other lawmakers are joining the Rand Paul resistance. Congressman Steve Stockman of Texas has threatened to impeach the President of the United States over executive gun laws. Former Reagan Attorney General Edwin Meese got into the act. He joined with the conservative website Newsmax to push the big lie.
So if the president unilaterally overrides the Second Amendment via executive order, I mean, would this be constitutional? Would it be legal? And how should Congress respond?
Well, it would not be legal. It would not be constitutional. And indeed, if he tried to override the Second Amendment in any way, I believe it would be an impeachable offense.
The constant repetition of this lie is intensifying. A number of people on the far right wing are preparing for civil war.
I'm telling you that if that happens, it's going to spark a civil war, and I'll be glad to fire the first shot.
I unfortunately believe that there are many people in this country that will want to bring on a civil war. And in that scenario, the people will lose.
Without our rights under the Second Amendment, removing the rest of our Bill of Rights would be a lot easier.
Once we lose the Constitution, and we're losing it big, what's left? I mean, how do we keep these people in check?
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
All low-rated right-wing talkers begging for an audience and attention. Glenn Beck, you going to sell some more subscriptions on that one? A lot of this rhetoric has heated up on the internet as well. Right-wing websites are calling for an armed revolution. The Civil War talk is a constant presence in conservative media. Here comes gun nut Ted Nugent, recently telling police to resist the imaginary executive order. I do believe that the heroes of law enforcement will defy this order. Country western singer Charlie Daniels wrote a column for the Christian website saying, no matter what Obama, Biden, Pelosi, Reid, and the rest of the far left in America say, they want your guns. They want them all. You really believe that, folks? This is how crazy these people can get. I think it's time for a reality check in this country. Sensible, responsible gun owners have a duty to push back against all of this crazy talk. Assault weapons, well, are the issue here. These are military-issued killing machines. Calling for regulations on assault weapons where we have been before in this country is not a ban on all guns. 58% of Americans, what do? Well, holy smokes, they support a ban on assault weapons. But I guess we got to let North Dakota and Kentucky run the country. The only demographic against a ban is white men with no college education. College-educated men and women, as well as non-whites and young people, they all support a ban. America is dividing as the demographics in this country shift. It's time for the silent majority in this country to be heard. This Civil War rhetoric needs to stop before it turns to be even more dangerous. I am a lifelong hunter. Now, we all give our resume when we start talking about guns, and this is one of the things that does bother me. Why do we do that? Well, we do that because we want to qualify that, hey, I'm not a nut and I believe in the Second Amendment, but I really do think that we can have some sensible gun laws in this country. Attitudes, society changes. Attitudes in society change over the years. We don't stay the same on a lot of issues. We move forward. Now, I'm not concerned that my guns are going to be taken away. And I would venture to say that of all the conservative hosts that you just saw there, I've probably shot more deer and pheasants than any of those suckers. This is not about tyranny. This is not about manhood in a screwy way. This is about democracy. The people of New York have decided through a representative government that they don't like the Bushmaster. They don't want the Bushmaster out there. And you know what? They also want some serious background checks. That's not an attack on the Second Amendment. That's not an attack on your personal freedoms. That is a change in the law. And that's how we run the country. But Rand Paul, this Tea Party senator from Kentucky, who says that basically he'll do anything, need a little bit more clarification there, Senator. Are you trying to start a civil war? Because I think that is the question at this point. The rhetoric has to stop. Now, Rupert Murdoch tweeted something out today about maybe we'll finally get something done on gun laws. We'll have that a little bit later on in the show. Tell your talk show hosts over there, your hosts of your big programs over there, to cool it and be responsible, because the Charlie Daniels of the world and the Ted Nugents of the world, they all pay attention to that channel. And they all thrive on fear. Where is the responsibility of broadcasters and talkers in this country when this kind of garbage comes up? President Obama is doing what the country wants him to do. This is where the people are. The election results haven't changed. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question.